true.
So Kane, are those the whiteboards? Is that what they are, or TVs?
No, those are more tables.
Oh, those are more
To go in the
tables.
back there?
For the back, okay.
They're just the wrong color.
Oh, oops.
So we're gonna switch them with the middle school library because they have the same color. So
Oh,
we just gotta move those over and move those
Oh,
over.
okay.
So they'll accommodate one school at a time, like a staff.
All right, we are good.
We're good?
Okay.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. And the Pledge of Allegiance. Fran, would you like to lead us?
We can do it. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, do I have a motion for approval of the agenda for tonight?
I will approve it, but I have a statement that maybe it'll work later if we talk about it, because I found out that we are supposed to do something a different way than we do. Like, the parts that is the action item, we're supposed to vote on those as a whole instead of each one separate. So if there's anything we want to question on that, we should take it out and discuss it. I found out from ASBA that action is supposed to be all action at once.
So it's a consent agenda, considered a consent agenda unless we remove it?
Correct.
What is,
And
we
then-
don't, we don't utilize consent agenda here. We do
Because if we have
Right.
the action items, okay, so we want to keep each one separate?
Yeah, I
Is it
think
just
you,
Which makes
consent?
sense,
I
yeah.
think you have to. If it was a consent agenda, which we did
Right.
4 years ago.
Right, so then.
You could bulk things, but we've not done that
Since we
in
don't do
years.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Then
in
I
that
move
case, you
we
want to make a
approve.
motion? No.
Yes.
And how about a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, agenda is approved, and I will make the motion to adjourn to executive session for the purpose of a couple things. Number one, discussion of decision on hearing officer's recommendation to expel a student, and for the purpose of discussion or consideration of employment, specifically the superintendent's contract. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are temporarily in executive session.
We'll call you, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and, yeah. I don't know if we ran next door or back and forth. Potentially do.
Good, how you doing?
With the holidays?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, we're back. I'll make a motion that we resume a regular session. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, back in regular session. And the next thing is the approval of minutes for the December 3rd, 2025 board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
And a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that goes on. And then we're on to informational reports, starting out with summary of current events. Dr. J.
Yeah, Dr. Rakowski, members of the board and guests, thank you for being here tonight. We're excited to be back after our long break. And I just want to reiterate that I hear from lots of people that that extra Monday off is very, very appreciated. So we're back and running, and we're excited for the second half of the school year. First off, I want to acknowledge and give a shout out to our band being in the Fiesta Bowl parade, and just an awesome event that George and the students were able to be part of it. I spoke to him a little bit yesterday, and he was excited to be part of it, and he said it went really, really good. So it was cool to see the people shared with me a live footage of it, and it was really neat to see. Winter sports are off and running really smooth, and we have some really good basketball teams. Our boys and girls team are, in my opinion, the team to beat in the state. So both teams have a real good shot at making a deep run this year. I went and watched them play last night, and both games were running clock, and just a lot of fun to be a part of and see that. I spent 20 hours in Coolidge's gym watching wrestling over the last weekend, and it was really great to see. We had some kids that have never placed, and Ava Bourne, who is one of the top-ranked female wrestlers in the state, easily won the tournament and had another great showing. Also, I'm happy to share that we have received again, I just want to get the name correct here, the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting from ASBO. So we have got that now 2 times, and we have proudly put that on our website, the badge, the certificate. So for us, that's really important, because this is transparency, accuracy, and special thanks to our finance team and those in the past who have helped us, like Mr. Rodolfi, who has been helping out with our audits and just helping us get things set up. So we're really excited about that and continuing that level of excellence. So with that, I conclude my comments.
Okay, thank you. All right, on to reports by governing board members, and we want to start with Mr. Henley.
Oh, sure. Seems like so long ago. Had a Fountain Hills Community Band concert, and 2 high school students participated, and they did an outstanding job. I'm going to try and recruit a few more. The facility meeting was held, and I'll go over in a couple of different parts of the meeting today about a summary of the session.
Okay, thanks. Kim?
Thank you. Well, welcome back, everyone, from the break. There are a couple things that I have participated and attended, but not as many as I had hoped due to the break. The first one would be the PBIS Awards and Little Falcons cheer event that was held at the elementary school. That was wonderful to go to. Really great to see the students and the awards given and the recognition given for being kind and all of those things as well. So really encouraging those types of behaviors when they're young, I think, is great in the school system. And it was great to see the Little Falcons do their cheers as well. And then I want to talk about cross country, middle school cross country, because my son is participating in that. And I just want to say that over the break, the middle school coaches hold 3 separate runs that the kids can optionally participate in. And that's, ideally to keep them fit while they're, or somewhat fit, while break is happening. And so I just really want to give kudos to Mary McDonald and Stephanie Beck for coordinating that and being there for those runs. And my son really appreciated it. I appreciated it as parents. And then also give kudos to Andrea Hall, the cross-country high school coach, who participated in them as well and had some high school students also join. So that was really great. So thank you. That's it.
Okay, Elaine?
Not as many things either, because there was a break, but I was busy. I did go to the Narcan training that was done through the Coalition for the Middle School and High School Teachers, and that was very informative. It didn't take that long, but it was good to get all that information. Separate from school, I volunteered at St. Mary's packing fresh food with my alumni from the university. I went to the menorah lighting in town here, and there were several dignitaries from town, which was really nice to see. And the town council gave a proclamation for sister cities, and since I belong to that, I went to it, so it felt really good. I did go to the Day of Awesomeness at the elementary school and helped out with all the inflatables, which I'm really glad they did cancel when it had rained so much, because it was moist enough there. And the first thing the kids have to do is take their shoes off so they can go on the inflatables. It was really a lot of fun watching them run around playing, and it's really thanks to the PTO. Unbelievable that they do something like that. I was at the Arizona School Board Association meeting, ASBA, I don't want to just say the name. As I said, I'm the secretary for the Hispanic Native American Caucus, so it was very informative on certain things that we found out. One of the things that we're going to have to keep an eye out is on the impact aid money. Since the Department of Ed federally may be dissolved, we're not sure. They're talking about the impact aid going right now to the Department of Defense, and they will distribute. So we really have to be careful on that, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. The speakers were unbelievable. The main one talked about the influence that one adult can make in a child's life. So I kept feeling like we should pat ourselves on the back because we do such a great job in our district. And the person that spoke wrote a book on it and talked about the people he grew up with. And the ones that went the right way and achieved a lot happened to all be with the same teacher at one point. And his friends who went the wrong way were not in that class. And they said it was just unbelievable what that means. So I think back even to Golden Eagle, how fantastic the mentors are. We always have somebody there for our students, so we really need to pat ourselves on the back. Guppy Mac has put together a group that talks about voicing how we should all talk about public schools, why public schools are good, and trying to get us all to say the same things. So we need to keep an eye on that. They'll be sending information. I went to all the awards that were given out, and I keep thinking, as I've said before, we need to put ourselves in, because we should be getting those awards. We do things better than a lot of the districts that did win. So let's do it for next time. And I think there should be the Bolts information little conference. I believe it's usually in February, if I remember correctly. And that talks about finance. So I suggested the other 3 of you try to go if you can. It's a one-day thing, and it's in town. So I know I did it when I first got on. It helps to get some more information on that. And join me next time.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Other than getting some emails and phone calls about landscaping at Four Peaks and a possible water leak at McDowell Mountain and stuff, which I thank Dr. J for handling that. I relayed the message. I don't think I have anything else to add. All right, moving
Dr.
on
Kowski,
to...
one more.
Yeah,
I do this every time. I apologize. Krista gives this to me. I get excited and then I forget. We got some books here that are going to be going on display. These are library books from McDowell Mountain Elementary School. Garnet does a great job of going through those, going through the literary committee, and then on display. So these books will be out starting tomorrow and available on our website for parents and anyone to take a look at. Okay?
and we encourage everybody to actually take a look at them, which doesn't
sorry
always
about
happen.
that. Yep.
Okay. On to other reports, site council minutes, starting on page 13 through 31. Any comments on any of those or questions? Okay. Current enrollment on pages 32 and 33. So we're actually up a little bit, which is nice. Maybe we'll actually break 1,000, huh? Okay. Any other questions, comments about that? Okay. And then the next thing is the Facilities Committee update. Ernie.
Okay, some of these items we'll definitely be bringing up formally to the board, but last discussion, we covered probably about 5 or 6 main topics. And the first one was,
Is your mic on? The other mic.
That makes sense.
Is it?
Yeah.
about now,
That's
Yep.
better. Yeah, thank you.
can you hear me now? Okay, was the demolition of Four Peaks facility. We talked about different options and bringing it to the board for approval, and it has to go to the Facilities Utilization Board. So that'll be touched on again later. But that was the recommendation from the committee, is to move ahead and officially get it requested. The second thing we talked about was potential consolidation of Little Falcons. It wasn't able to fit into the budget when they moved all the other students and consolidated at McDowell Mountain Elementary. So they're still working through some of the figures about building modifications and things that need to be done for that to happen. But that came up, and it was the consensus of the committee to help that happen if the funding lines up. The second, and it was a benefit to not only the parents, but the students also. And some of the parents have to make trips to 2 schools in the morning. There's other things that break it up. So that was a favorable response to work towards a consolidation. Next thing is come up with a timeline, like a 5 to 10 year schedule. I think we decided on 5 years to look at major expenses for the, not the O&M, but on the facilities part of it, like HVAC systems and major items that need to be upgraded and repaired, and get those mapped out in some sort of a manner that we can either save towards doing them or line up contracts and things of that nature. So that's still a TBD, but it's something that we all agreed on getting it going. And then another big topic was expiration of the budget override. So when that occurs, what does it mean to the district? What does it mean to the O&M aspect of it? What does it mean to things that we would like to get done and what we would have to recover from? So the override will come up for decision. We had talked about it once before, and we need to get to a point to make a decision to go after it for this year. We still have time to get it. Or if we push it out to next year, what does that mean financially to us in getting consensus to move forward? So that'll be, I'm sure as far as the override goes, we'll have a presentation on that. And then the other thing is, if we go in that direction, I did look up the rules for engagement of the board in the community for being able to make factual presentations, but make sure that we're in compliance with the regulations. And then for homework, everybody that was at the meeting, they need to put together plans. They were presented a draft master plan for the next 5 years. They had all the categories, including some of the things that go beyond just the facilities, to put in their thoughts and ideas of what need to be included. And so when we get back on the next meeting on the 22nd of January, then we'll go over those notes and map out some work ahead. But those were the main items. Some of them are going to need board decision, and so they'll be coming up. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bernie. All right, next up, public comments. Do we have any, Krista? Okay. Okay, so this is the time for the public to comment. Time limits may be allocated on public comment at the discretion of the board president for the board to efficiently complete its business. The board reserves the right to prohibit any comments made in a discourteous or threatening manner. Complaints about specific individuals, students, or personnel are discouraged. Personnel issues should be directed to the appropriate staff member or administrator per district policy. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date. Okay. So, Mr. Lorenz.
Good evening, President Rakowski, board members. Good to see all of you. I was a guest at the facilities meeting, and today I just wanted to reinforce that if the board decides to go forward with continuation of the O&M override, we kept the political action committee in place because we thought maybe even last year the school may choose to go for the O&M override continuation. So the Political Action Committee is in place to support it. It's called Yes for FH Students. It was the same Political Action Committee that was in place when the last override was in place. And it's also the same one that attempted to pass the bond issue and was successful passing the land sale issues. So two of the key members that were on that committee, the staff here, has been working with them for a long time, Craig Rudolphi and Todd Harris. They've done a lot of really good work for the school district to complement the staff and everybody that was involved with making sure those volunteers stayed engaged, and they've done a great job. So the committee's in place. If you decide to go forward, you can reach out. Jan Harris is treasurer. I'm still president of the Political Action Committee at this time. So that's all I want to do is give you that information. If you decide to go forward, it's in place. It doesn't have to be recreated. Any questions?
All right.
Thank you
Thank
all
you.
for all you do.
Thank you.
There is a handout.
I see it. Thank you. Okay, on to action items, starting with the Personnel Action Report on page 34. Any questions or comments about that? If not, I'll make a motion that we approve the Personnel Action Report. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Next up is payroll vouchers, pages 35 through 39. Again, any questions, comments? I'll move that we approve the payroll vouchers. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's approved unanimously. And then on to accounts payable vouchers, starting on page 40.
If you just want to make a statement about that one bill that was high, just so, in case anybody wonders like we did.
Yeah, if anybody wonders, well, there's a couple things on voucher 2016. Sea West Entertainment, $5,400, that's for the graduation stage. And Glitter Stars Incorporated, $5143.74, that's for cheer uniforms for the high school.
Where the cheerleaders themselves, the money came in through that.
Yeah, and that was basically, it's an expenditure, but it was a fundraising thing, so it was no net cost to the district. So it's a large expenditure, but it's not at a direct cost to the district. Those are the main ones. Okay. Any questions or comments about any of those? If not, I will make a motion that we approve the accounts payable vouchers. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to donations, one of our favorite
yeah.
subjects here. And again, we appreciate very much all the generosity of the community, both in financial terms as well as other support.
Incredible donations at the
Yeah.
holiday time.
Yeah.
The number of things that were given to all the students is just unbelievable.
Yeah, several $2,000 donations from several people, so very much appreciated. And continuing donations from the Peter and Teresa Conti Foundation, who have donated a lot to this district. And Mr. Henley, too. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, who would like to make a motion to accept the donations?
I move we accepted donations.
And how about a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to updated extracurricular activities. And this starts on page 71. So scrolling down to that. Okay, so the only change here is, let me see, what's in red? Removing extracurricular fees for the Art Club National Art Society.
It's just been removed.
Okay.
Dr. Kowski, members, board, and guests, that is, as we continue to look at old clubs that have existed and have been dormant for a while, closing them out, we have been bringing to the various student councils what to do with, they get to vote where that money goes, if it's student activities. And then with tax credit, some of that also would go to the site council. So it's an effort of us just, as we continue cleanup from years ago, now we're getting into more and more detail and just finding clubs that just don't exist and we don't have any interest in at this time. So we can always start up again, but right now, we're just closing them out.
Okay.
Okay?
Comments, questions? Okay, if not, I'll move that we approve the updated extracurricular activity change. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Next up, the policy GCQC, professional staff resignations. And this requesting a waiver for medical illness, which I believe that's one of the acceptable
Yes.
reasons in the policy. Any questions or concerns about that? If not, who would like to make a motion to accept that resignation and waiver of damages?
I move that we accept it.
Okay, how about a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Okay, on to information and discussion items, starting with supplemental reading at the elementary school. Is that what you were mentioning before, or is that different?
Dr. Kowski, members, board, and guests, this is a little different. This is books that are donated as part of the new gardening project that's being put on over at McDowell Mountain. So, very simple, just we're looking to accept some books regarding gardening.
Yeah, so it's already gone through the process of the 60 days and all of that.
Yeah, just
Okay.
donations.
Any questions, comments?
Just a comment.
Yeah.
That community garden is at the elementary school is really a great motivator for the kids. And they're looking at different ways to get out there. In fact, today we were supposed to work with the K-Kids and get them out there, but it was raining and they still wanted to go.
Which is good.
Yeah.
That rain is good.
Time out. But,
Okay.
yeah, talk about something pulling the academics and the environment together and the plantings and all that stuff. It's really turning out to be a great project.
Yep, we're
Yeah,
very
literally
proud.
get their hands dirty.
I'll add a comment as well. I was
Yeah.
talking to Val, and she was saying that there's just so many kids interested in garden club that it's more than they imagined, so I
Nice.
think that's fabulous.
Excellent. Okay, good. Good. All right, on to next item B, at this high school, new course proposal for Teacher Academy.
All right, give me 1 second here. I'm going to come to the podium a few times tonight. So this is a new course proposal, and this is the time of year where we typically do these. And I think it's a really cool story because this is coming from a student. I know that student pretty well, but this is coming from a student who was helping at the Thanksgiving Falcon Family Feast at McDowell Mountain and really got into it and was doing a really great job. And that night, the principal called and shared with his parents what a great job he did and how he was just a natural in the school. And so that student approached me and said, you know, it would be really cool if we had a class where at the high school we could go to the elementary school and be basically a teacher assistant and do that for credit as a way to, one, give back to the elementary school, see the teachers that we love and made a difference for us, and then lastly, you know, maybe become teachers. So I really was impressed, and I thought that's a great idea. So none of that is showing. Oh, there it is. Okay, I was like, I know I pushed the button. But I was like, that's a great idea. So we sat down, my team, and Val Reichler and I, and we talked about it a little bit, and we thought, you know, if the kids applied for this and had, you know, certain credentials, particularly no discipline and, you know, no attendance issues and strong grades and maybe even letters of recommendation, things like that, that they could apply for this elective class. They would need to drive themselves, like we have kids who obviously drive to off-campus places, they have off-campus lunch, so it'd be a permission slip, like we do, notarized permission slip, but you know, a student could leave Fountain Hills High School and drive over to McDowell Mountain in a very short period of time. With a 70-minute period at the high school, they would have a good, you know, 50-plus minutes of time over at the elementary school. And the teacher would be at the elementary school would basically give the grade. The high school would take care of that for the teacher, but through feedback, they would give them a grade based on a rubric of how they're handling and how they're doing things. And my vision of this was so many different options. One, our high school kids go over, credit to Dr. Wynn. She does a great job of getting the high school kids over to play with the kids on sports nights, you know, for football and cheerleading and basketball. And there's nothing better than when you see the high school kids reading to the younger students, playing with them, and just being good role models. And so one of the things that came up for me as a teacher at heart and never forgot, you know, the classroom is I think it could be very powerful when there are some disruptive students for the high school kid to be able to work with them, possibly take them for a walk, take them to the library, take them to the team room, and maybe do that lesson with them there in a smaller environment to give the teacher a little bit of a break from that situation. I also believe that these high school kids would be able to help maybe explain things a little differently, being younger and connect with the kids. And so I looked at it as it could be a help for behavior, it could be help with academics, it could be even playing with them on the playground. Val's really excited about having more, you know, they're not adults yet. We have to be very careful that they have to be supervised themselves. But to have more students, high school students out at playtime and recess to be able to ensure the kids are following rules, play games with them, help in the cafeteria. I just see so many good things coming from this, and I think it would be a really fun elective for the high school kids to be able to take. We would like it to be a credit that can be repeated, like we see with weight training and art and some of the other classes that we do. It would be an elective credit. And I believe it would help us grow the next generation of teachers. We have some students who have already done their senior internship with our elementary school or middle school looking to go into teaching. And I always tell them, you'll have a job waiting for you when you graduate, being a former Falcon. But seeing, I think, our high school kids involved, it just sends a great sense of community. So that's it in a kind of an overview of how it came to be and what we're proposing. And if approved, we'd like to start this third term this year and not wait till next year. So I'll take any questions you have.
Well, as a former teacher and classroom is still at heart, what a great idea. Because we do need more teachers. We don't have enough. And to get kids in high school already excited and be able to go and help out and also know whether they like it or not. Because I've known too many people that they go through everything and then once they're in the classroom realize it's not for them. So I think it's fantastic.
Have you thought about if there is sort of a maximum number of students who can do it per term?
Yes.
Some of those kind of details.
We have, and where we're at with that is Val would have to get teachers on board. We were not going to put a student in a teacher's classroom that doesn't want that. So she would, once approved, and it looks like that, because remember, once the class is approved, it just means that moving forward at any time we could schedule it. Doesn't mean it has to be right away. But Val would work with her teachers on who would be willing to take on a high school student, and then what grade level would be best for that student, what are their interests. So yes, we're still in the process of finalizing how that would work. As far as a cap on that, we don't want it to disrupt other elective options, but we also, with a trimester, kids are running out of elective options, which we knew would happen when we put that in 3 years ago. So this is one of many course requests you're going to get this year. I've got a deadline with teachers about these requests coming in. I would love to see some new courses, especially in social studies. I got a social studies teacher here tonight that would, I think, do some pretty cool stuff with a 60-day elective like World War II, the Vietnam War. It could be even something, a history of, sports. I mean, just things that could be something that the kids could really get after. We're also looking at financial literacy, and we're looking at some possibly English electives. So those will be coming to you as we go. This was just the first one that made it, to my desk, but that's because I helped write it.
Okay.
I have another question.
Sure.
Have you thought about who exactly is looking at the applications and making the decision?
Yeah, so it would be at the high school first. The high school would go through a process. So Ms. Pinto would, and her team, much like we do the senior internship, how they grade those and they go through that process. She would develop a team of teachers and administrators to go through that application, check status of the requirements, and then once accepted, then the student would be able to be on a list that we give to the elementary school. The elementary school then would give us the need that they have, and then from there it would probably be on on some kind of basis of first come, or maybe what your desired class is, and that one is available. So there's still some things to work out with that. It's right now we're just seeing if the board has an interest in this as a whole, and then we will definitely come back with you before. In fact, we'll do that at the next meeting when we go for the action. I'll bring you some more details on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anything else?
We had a couple of the interns come in and work on one of our projects, and they came in with a supervisor that's doing it for the internship program, and just watching the seniors work with the 4th and 5th graders, that was amazing. They had more patience than I do sometimes. But they worked with them, and the little kids really appreciated the big kids being there. Their eyes got big, so, yeah, it should be helpful.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right.
All right, thanks. Okay, next up, overnight student trip to Germany with sister cities. Mr. Peterson, I think that's you, huh? Come on in.
Member Dr. Rakowski and members of the board, Dr. J, I think it's a wonderful idea. It teaches the students a lot of empathy too in the classroom about their own experiences in the classroom as well. I'm here to just present to you that we're looking to continue our relationship with the Fountain Hills Sister Cities program, as well as inform you as our next point, which is the trip to Japan. These are two different trips entirely, two different programs. One is the Sister Cities program, which I'll address first. We have affiliation with the Sister Cities program in Deerdorf, Germany, as well as one in Zamość. This particular portion of our trip or our program is focused on the German aspect. Our proposal is that the German students and teachers come here in October of this coming year, and then the Fountain Hills students will be arriving in Germany. Those that are involved in the program will be arriving in Germany in June of 27. So we're a little bit far out in terms of our planning, but that's where we want to be. I'd like to address that the Fountain Hills Sister Cities program is wonderful in that they keep our students connected with students all across the world. And we've had students in the last few years who have made long-term friendships with some of these students from foreign countries. And that's been remarkable to see. In fact, I have a couple of friends that I still talk with on Facebook that are graduates of the German schools or the Polish schools that we still know, and the teachers and staff. In fact, I've had dinner with former staff members from Poland, and some of those students that go to Poland again will have dinner with former relations with their hosts. The program is 10 days long, or excuse me, about 25 days long in the Sister Cities program. The students that come here will be here for about 20 days, and when we arrive there, we will be there for approximately 20 days as well. So that's part one. If you'd like, I can sit down. Are there any questions on that?
No, the only thing I saw is to look, I think you put the name of the mayor from before, so just change that. It's with Mayor Dickey, so
Oh, is that
just
right?
need to look at
Oh,
that.
excuse us. Yeah.
That's the only thing. I mean, since I happen to be on the committee with Sister Cities, this is just incredible. I like that. We do that, and I know the connections that were made last year that were unreal. So this is another country to go to. We don't have anything with Ataco, El Salvador. You can't really do that there. It's different with Sister Cities. Sister Cities is looking at another city coming up, so that'll be maybe another place to travel in the next few years once all that's approved. I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. And, our students from our school are participating in community events, and in particular, I think the Oktoberfest function that they had.
Right.
So our students are getting a lot of exposure to a lot of different environments just through being members of this program.
Mm-hmm.
And I just share, being a part of it last year, we talked to our student at least once a week. His parents sent us a nice Christmas card with our cactus ornament that we brought him to make sure it was in there. But it is truly, I truly believe it is lifelong relationships. And I think it's the best thing we do as a school district, to be honest. We're really going to promote this with our students to ensure that they take advantage of this really great opportunity. And I can't speak high enough about it. It's a great experience for our kids, and hopefully we'll get a lot of kids interested.
Yeah, on average, we have about 15 students that participate in this program, maybe 20.
And the cost is minimal.
The cost is minimal.
The cost is minimal, so I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's an
well-
easy way to make relationships that you're gonna have forever.
Yes, and Sister Cities does contribute in some financial regard to
Right.
parents who are involved.
How many students do we get from Germany coming?
Well, they're slightly more regulated, so what they send us is how many we send there. So
Okay, so
if they
we
send us,
match it.
they have like 15 usually, and we match that at 15.
Okay.
But we oftentimes have 20 students wanting to be a participant.
Okay.
So we kind of use a little bit of a legacy program. If you had a student before, we try to keep you involved in the program as well.
And you need to get this going because you need to start finding homes.
Correct.
So that's the main thing. that
Yes.
You need more time for this.
Yes, which is why we're asking you now.
Okay. Shall we move on to Japan?
Yes, would you like me to sit down and then call me back up?
We'll just imagine.
Okay.
Oh, you're back, okay.
Yes. This is maybe Fountain Hills High School's largest club. It might be in terms of side clubs. Last year, we went to Japan, as you saw in our presentation. We had 38 students go on that trip, which is quite a lot. Considering for Washington DC, in the past, we used to have 15 to 20. But now we're bringing students to, say, Japan, and we had 38 some odd students go with the appropriate amount of chaperones. This current year, we are planning on the same exact trip with one minor extension. Instead of going left, we're going to go right in one little town. So it's the same exact trip minus just one detour. I can tell you that these trips are highly organized and Japan is extremely safe. So as you saw in our photos, the students had a wonderful experience, and our goal is to continue that program with these next round of students that are interested in going.
Okay. Questions?
Okay, so here's a weird thing from me, because I totally believe in the travel. I have a problem with this one. First of all, I think you're trying to do it next year also, spring break.
Correct.
So that puts it in between the same time as the students coming here from Germany and our students going there. I don't feel like, as a school district, we are there for travel just to anywhere we want. If you want to travel, I'm all for, say, history teachers and English teachers going to England to go to the Globe Theater and get all that information. Spanish students going to Spain or another Spanish-speaking country. This one I have a problem with. If you're going to do it at all, I would say it should be in the year that you're not doing an exchange with other countries. But personally, I still have a problem with this one.
Who knows?
Well, we do these trips during our spring breaks, and our fall break. So I come home and frankly, sometimes need a break.
Oh, I know.
But
That's what I
we're
always
not-
did.
We don't
Yeah.
utilize maybe a minimal amount of substitutes involved in terms of the teachers. And generally speaking, we have several parents that show.
Yeah.
So we're not utilizing a lot of substitute hours.
Right.
In addition to that, the students who participate in the Sister Cities program are not always the same students who participate in fact, I'd be willing to wager it's maybe a third
overlap.
of an overlap, yeah. And those are the real dire
And also
ones.
the Sister Cities program is limited to the amount of students that they send us. So if they send 15, we can only send 15 there.
Correct.
Right.
Whereas this is open to any student who can raise the money
Correct.
or whatever, because there is a cost to it. So, and it's not limited to even 38 students. If it went up to 40 or 45, we'd find a way to do it. So I do like that, because the Sister Cities thing is limited based on what the other country is doing.
Yeah, the involvement of the Sister Cities program is much more intensive. So, again, a lot of parents who are participating in the Sister Cities program are not interested in having their child also participate in back-to-back. The only ones that are doing the back-to-back are, like I said, maybe a third of an overlap.
And one thing I'll just share, seeing these trips for a while, is one, cost difference is quite significant. With Sister Cities, you're really just, most of the kids are fundraising through tax credit, their plane ticket, and then everything's covered.
Right.
So that is a very affordable trip for students, whereas the Japan trip and the trip coming up are, what, 1,000, somewhere around there. So, I mean, it's a pretty expensive trip for people to take. The second thing, I just want to kind of, seeing both sides of it, is I think it takes a real special kid to be willing to stay in a stranger's house for 15 to 20 days. And that's what I loved about the trip, personally, for my own children, was growing up and having to be in uncomfortable situations and overcome that. And I think that's going to help them be more successful. So I think it is a different group of students looking for each trip, because when you go to Japan, it's more of a tourist thing. You're with your teachers, you're in a pretty, hotels, and you're in a pretty comfortable environment, where in the sister cities, it was a little scary for them at first, like, the first night, and, adjusting a little bit to customs and changes. So I do understand there is a lot of travel, but one thing I will say is that, being in Fountain Hills, we are able, because we're small, to kind of do some things other people can't do. And I think this is one of the things that really sets us apart, is how many countless kids have gone through this district and can really say they've been world travelers. So I see both sides of it, but I just want to share a couple of those things just to give a little perspective.
I don't worry about the trip itself. I've traveled with EF many times, and they do a great job. So that part I don't care. I just, I know when we used to do trips, maybe our district didn't have the funds, and plus we couldn't fundraise at all. So it made it difficult to say, oh, we're going to have all these trips, and you need money for this or that. So it's mainly that I would rather see it be more aligned with something with our curriculum. That's all.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item up is the after-school tutoring.
Yes, Dr. Rakowski, members of the board and guests, I've asked to put this on tonight as we are looking to expand our tutoring options for students, primarily middle school math, which is something I'm working on right now. And we graciously have Christine Barsima willing to kind of start a new program where we have a high school math teacher working with our middle school students on acceleration, filling gaps and things after school, once to twice a week. But one of the things I've found over the last few years is getting staff to work after school or on Saturdays at what we pay is I think concerning for them. And we have a wonderful program that does not get utilized as much as I'd like, that we created years ago when I was principal of the high school, called the Saturday Catch-Up Room. And the concept of that was, we brought kids in on Saturday and said, okay, you're behind, and we're gonna sit you down here until you get everything caught up. Like, you're not gonna get, it's not full credit, but we're gonna get all that that's been weighing you down, done. And I had kids tell me time and time again, I just walk out of that room feeling so relieved, like everything that's been on my mind, everything's done, I'm caught up. And it was a really popular program years ago, and lately it's been really hard to do. The funding for tutoring can come out of tax credit. And we have a lot of tax credit money right now that is in the accounts. And years ago, we used to use tax credit mostly for capital purchases and things like that. And then it changed where you weren't allowed to do that. Now, I've heard there's exceptions to that now, and they're trying to let districts be a little more flexible, but we haven't used it for that. We basically use our tax credit for either field trips or spend it on services through people. And the best service we can do is additional tutoring. So I believe right now it's about 30. I think it's like right at $30 an hour for teachers after hours. So after you pay into that, plus your retirement, it's a real small number. And I don't think we're getting a lot of interest. So what I'm proposing is for after school or Saturday tutoring, to raise that to $50 an hour. And then after taxes, retirement come out, they should probably get close to $35 of actual money for that time they put in. So, again, it's not an M&O expense. It really is coming out of that tax credit account. And it would be, I think, more intriguing for teachers to be able to take on some of those additional tasks in those off hours if it was a little bit higher pay. So I'm taking any questions you have.
So 2 questions. Number one, with the amount of tax credit funds we have, how many Saturdays could we fund?
Oh,
Roughly, I mean,
probably every
5,
Saturday,
10, 20?
every Saturday of the school year, no
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't have it in front of me now, but I would say combined in all schools, over 100,000 in tax credit money.
Oh.
So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And we have students that would be potentially,
Yes.
taking advantage of this?
I think, the hiccup has been recently is getting staff to do it, right? And I saw the same thing. This is nothing new. And during COVID in other districts, I saw a lot of ESSER money available, but there was a lot of, if the amount that is being paid is at a certain number, I think people don't look at it as an option. And this is a good way for us to help some teachers who, we all know teachers are underpaid and we all know teachers could use additional money. I do believe this is a way to hopefully get them more excited about and more interested in helping with those opportunities because, a lot of people don't understand in the teaching world that 12% of your income goes to state retirement and then taxes on top of that. And so your take home is significantly less as a result of that. And so raising it up a little bit, I think the take home pay would be more in line with what we would hope for that they would get per hour.
Okay. And this would be limited to math or other areas?
No, it'd be open to anything. I really want to get Saturday, we did some Saturday catch-up rooms last year. So this is different than Saturday school, like when we all grew up and that was detention. That's something different. That's not what we're talking about. We've done it as voluntary. We've done it as highly recommended. We've done it in the past where we said you're required. We've tried a lot of different ways. But right now, I think if we had the staff in line, I would guess we could probably get close to 50 kids on a Saturday to come in and get that extra help.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Other comments?
And this would be at each school?
Yes.
Or, okay.
It would just raise for tutoring or Saturday catch-up rooms, we'd label it specifically. In those 2 categories, your pay outside your contracted hours would be at that rate. So obviously McDowell Mountain, if they do after-school tutoring, they have to provide busing. It's a little more challenging than at the high school. But all 3 principals are on board with having additional opportunities like that. And I've even shared with Dr. Wheeldryer and Ms. Pinto is they could even, as administrators, share the responsibility of supervision by rotating every other one because it's really a 612 campus, so one principal could be there. It was, for me, when I did it, it was a great opportunity. They're with the teachers, they're doing work, but it's nice to have an administrator there, and I would get caught up on a lot of tasks that I didn't get throughout the week, and it was just a good setup. 2 to 3 hours on a Saturday, and then 1 hour after school, and then we have busing and transportation, just like we do on a reteach day.
Okay. Anything else?
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, next up is Four Peaks demolition.
Dr. Rakowski, members of the board and guests, I'm going to lean a little on Bernie here as we've been working on this together. What we're bringing to you is to get permission to, if the time comes and things work out the way we hope with the land sale, and the school facility board approves demolition of that building, this would give us the other step of that, which is to get your permission to move forward with the demolition of the building. We've looked at this building for my last 4 years I've been here, we've been looking at it, different ways of utilizing it. But ultimately, it comes down to the amount of work that it needs, millions of dollars in plumbing and other just, you name it, over there, there's issues. And what we're running into is, as you mentioned earlier, landscaping and it being a vacant building. And when I talked to the school facility board, we have, I believe, the capacity at elementary with our building footprint right now for over 2,000 elementary students. And so we're never, in my opinion, going to get to that level in the next 20 years. So they said on their end, it would really be most likely approved because of the fact that we have so much capacity and the age of the building and the needs that the building has. Our goal would be to raise it and to, either one, put in rock or grass or something that could be easily maintained, but also the community could enjoy and give the neighbors in that community something that, they can get on board with. We have no plans at this time, even though we have authorization to sell it. And I believe we have that for 20 years from before. We have no interest in that at this time because the land value is not very high. And I think it's an asset worth keeping in case the time ever comes where the community does flip and there is an increase in students, that we have land to build another elementary school if that time ever came. Because once that land is all gone, a lot of districts have run into that where they have nowhere to build. And so I believe that land is worth about $900,000 after everything's taken out. And I just believe that's a good asset to keep. So Bernie, if there's anything you want to add.
We've done quite a bit of research on this in the community with the town staff, with some commercial developers, and so far the response is if we put it up for sale, we would not get a response because of the facility being there and the disrepair that it's in right now. So the decision was made by consensus to look into the cost of getting it demolished and doing it within rules and requirements. So the next step is to request official permission to go ahead and do that and take it out of the inventory. We do have the capacity in other facilities, and then we have not come to a decision, as Dr. J mentioned, as far as the disposition of the land. The town would like to have the land and join up with the park that's adjacent to it. But as far as the funding situation right now, that's a little bit tight, to say the least.
They'd give us $1 probably, right?
Right.
So right now, there's not a plan after the demolishment other than make sure that the property is left either in natural terrain or something of that nature, so that it'll still be beneficial to the neighborhood to have it there. The longer it sits, the more opportunity there is for vandalism or other things going on. We still have some facilities to keep it safe. You can't let it go without water excess and that sort of thing. So to cut the cost to the school district, need to get it out of the inventory, and that was our recommendation.
And I'll share, we did get a quote about a year ago between $300,000 and $400,000 to raise that. We spent, the cost has gone down with the renters out. When the renters were there, it was about a $200,000 a year cost, but we were getting like $90,000 in rent, so it was about a $100,000 loss. I would estimate it's around that $100,000 now, keeping the power on in hibernation mode, like you said, the water. We have to still pay insurance. We still have to pay for other minor things that are over there. So it would pay itself off over time, and we would only move forward with that if the land sale goes through. We would not be able to invest that kind of money out of our capital account. I don't think that would be responsible without the land sale money being available.
Okay. Questions, comments?
One last thing I'll share is when the school facility board, once our board makes a decision, the school facility board will put together a resolution, and then their board would also vote, and then the combination of both boards agreeing to that would give us the ability to move forward. So just to give you like a timeline and how that would work.
Okay.
I guess my question would be, I mean, I see the resolution here. Is there I would probably vote to do this, but I would want those caveats specifically outlined.
Sure.
That the land sale needs to be
Yes.
completed first. And those types of things. So this doesn't include that, but
Well, when we do for an action item, presumably at our next meeting, we could add that
Yeah.
stipulation to it as part of the motion.
Yeah, and if the town, I just want to retain the land in case it's needed, We're selling 2 parcels. We have 1 parcel left that we're saving for the future. And if the town was interested in, we get it set up for whatever it needs to be and they want to maintain it and stuff, like, I would be open to all that, where we have an IGA with them that if the time comes, we want to sell it, we can sell it. But I would think, let's let the community utilize that 4 acres for something. I would just be cautious of building anything on it. I would say grass or natural landscaping, something like that would work. So I will continue to work with the town on that. I've expressed that to them already, certain members over there, that we might be able to work something out. But I just don't want to enter into an agreement, like you said, Dr. Rakowski, for $1 a year for 50 years, and then
Yeah.
we can't do anything with the land.
I was
so.
thinking $1 a year, $1 one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's what they
Okay.
do. The other thing is on this, if we approve this, I mean, I don't think that, I don't interpret that this says that we're going to go ahead. We're just asking for permission. They
Yes.
may give us permission, then we'd have to vote separately on on acting upon it.
okay.
Yeah,
that
that's
makes
my
me feel
understanding of,
better.
We will
Yeah.
get clarification on that.
Okay. Yeah.
I look at it as we would have the ability to do it, but we would always bring that back to you that our plan is to do so. But let me
Okay.
double check on that.
Yeah,
My
that's-
interpretation of this is this gives us the permission to do it.
but we have to actually act and approve to actually do it down the
Okay.
line. Yeah, okay.
The resolution approves it.
All right.
But you guys as a board can make the decision to complete the resolution, however it needs to be, and that would have to go in your motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would
Right.
want it to be voted upon for the actual timeline of the
Yeah,
demolition.
good, okay.
Okay.
All right, next up is moving Little Falcons to the McDowell Mountain site beginning in the 2026-27 school year.
Okay. I have some pictures to kind of go with this presentation. So as Bernie mentioned earlier, our facility use committee has really, approved in their capacity to bring this to you tonight to get feedback and hopefully, if, approval to make this project happen. As we know, Little Falcons Preschool being a standalone preschool, I still like the concept. I would do it again, going back in time. We just, like in any situation, you hope that enrollment will go up, you hope that things will improve. And it did. And, the first year we doubled the enrollment. We're still higher than we were when we moved. We were at 26 when we made it a self-contained preschool, and we're close to 40 again this year. So it's definitely, in my opinion, been a good move. The other thing I'll share is that the cost of what we've put into Little Falcons Preschool since '23 is very minimal. We put in a playground there that was, I believe, about $30,000 total with everything out the door. We did a painting project there, and that's about it over the last 3 years. So even if it was $100,000 in costs we put into it over the last 3 school years, $30,000 of maintenance in the building, we sometimes spend that at the high school in 1 month. So I just want to be clear that even though we might shift, I don't think in the end it was a loss or it was the wrong decision at all. I just think times have changed and there's less kids being born, and it's an opportunity for us to, again, lessen some costs and give the kids, even a better experience. So our plan would be This is obviously the front of McDowell Mountain Elementary School. It's a little outdated, but what we're looking at is where the bike rack would be where the playground is, and that building right behind it would be the preschool. So that building currently serves as the 2 art rooms and the band room is really what's in there. This would allow us to have the preschool still kind of be self-contained off, in a different part of the campus. Most of the academic classrooms are on the right in the main building. But it would give them a lot of space, it'd give them a really cute place to play and learn. We would take out the wall there with the bike rack, put the playground there, put in the padding that goes with it, some shade. That would be probably one of the larger costs of this project, is moving the playground. We would also look at, is it more affordable to move it or purchase? We did get that one very, very affordable. I want to say it was about $15,000 for that playground because it's really small. It's for ages 2 to 5, so it's a real tiny one. But what's cute about it that we love is it has a natural trike path. We've always wanted a trike path over at the preschool, so those sidewalks kind of move and go in different directions and come back around. And so it would give them a nice little natural trike path. We would put some artificial grass in some of those rock areas. And then we would fence off that whole front area with a block wall. So it would be probably about an 8-foot block wall. So they're completely, not in line of sight of anybody driving through the parking lot. The other, so that's a little closer up there of that, of the playground area. This is the art rooms that exist now. They're very large. They're way overboard for, I think, middle school art, but the people who were in charge back in the early 2000s, they went big on everything at that school. Football field, track, baseball, softball fields, team rooms. It's a very nice facility. So this would reduce us to 2 classrooms, is with the option of a third. So if we did have the enrollment, we could do a third, but our prediction is we'll need 2 classrooms next year. This is another classroom with students in it, just kind of give you a little perspective. We would polish the floors, paint, get it ready. They don't want carpet, they want large rugs, and they want to be able to do some things with that. But what's really nice about this setup is it's a really affordable move because in between the 2 classrooms, this is me taking a picture from one classroom to the other, there's a workroom in between there. And in that workroom, on the right, you can see kind of where the mop is and the janitor closet there that's exposed and open. What would happen is they would put in a countertop system there with cupboards, microwave, refrigerator, possibly dishwasher, things like that for their snack time. To be able to do that. And then where the hot water heater is, that would be moved outside into a new area, which I'll show you here in a minute. And that area where the hot water heater is now would become a bathroom. So there's already plumbing there. We had an architect come out and take a look at it and say, yes, that would work. There's also a large sink in that area to clean brushes and things like that. So this would allow the classroom I'm in, standing and taking this picture, to have, it's a bathroom with a door connected to it, which we need in preschool. And then the classroom across the hall with the students in it, there's a bathroom up against that wall, but the entrance to it is in the hallway. So we just have to close that doorway in and put the door in the classroom, which is a very minor cost. And then that classroom would have a bathroom. So it's really the most affordable, cheapest way to add bathrooms, which are super expensive, to do it this way.
Excuse me.
Yes.
The only thing I wanted to say is that this is to be in compliance with the requirements of setting up the preschool.
Right.
Yes, with licensing. Yep. And one of the, so both bathrooms would be compliant. Everything would be following licensing, yes. This is the area where the hot water heater would be moved. It would be kind of to the left, where that little yellow fence is, looks like a locker. They would build off a wall there, and it would be housed in that area. So this is where the kiln is now, and we would keep that clean and be a little bit of storage, but you can see there's sinks out there for that. That could still be used in different capacities. But going backwards, this is the band room currently that's there. And we are using it this year for project-based learning, but that could be done in any classroom. We just utilized it to give them more space to spread out, but we have 3 team rooms to do that as well in a very large library. What's nice about this is there's 3 offices in there, so teachers and director would have a place to have an office, and this would be their messy room type space where they would be able to have play equipment in there, take naps, be able to eat and do the things they do in their messy room they have now over at Little Falcons Preschool. And what's nice about that is to the right, where you can, in the top right there, you can see a person standing there. Right behind them is a door, an exterior door, which we could put a nice little entryway from where parents could drop off and kids would be able to come in for before school care or be picked up in after school care there. And it would be a nice pickup and drop off for the parents. And then that room is connected to the art rooms with a short hallway. Next to that is the stage for the cafeteria, which when they do their music and their different performances, they could go practice and have it right there. We are trying to add elementary music next year, but we have other spaces on campus to be able to do that without utilizing. I know it'd be great, Mr. Honley, to have this, 40 elementary kids playing instruments, and I get all that, but right now we're trying to find a teacher to come in and really rebuild that program. There's so much space on that campus. There is a lot of empty classrooms, and there's things you can do, even combining classrooms, which we did this year with our self-contained special ed, to be able to make it even bigger. So there's a lot of options there. And then we'll have a town hall meeting soon with parents. We've had this conversation with our coffee parents. Denise has had some informal conversations with her parents. Val Reichler is 100% on board. And what this would also do, which is really nice, is one of the issues at the preschool that is not ideal is we can't staff that school like we do other schools because it's a tuition-based, it's very unique, it's a small group of kids that come every day. We do have a security guard over there that walks the campus and is available to parents and things like that. But moving over to this campus, you have now, your health aide, you have your librarian, you have connections to the school. You're part of the Day of Awesomeness. You're part of going to the planetarium and all the different things that we have over there. And I think the continuity to stay in the school district, we've had 95% retention. I think that just maintains that and possibly even increases it a little bit there. So we'll have a town hall meeting with the parents of the preschool to show them our plans and give them the interest, or see what interest they have or any questions they have. Todd and I have been working with the architect that built the school and has done other renovations for us as a starting point. And they said they would be able to get plans developed within 6 weeks. Construction, they said wouldn't even start till probably June 1st, and it would be around 6 weeks to get that construction done. So we feel like we could get the whole thing done in the summer and be ready to go in August if we choose to go down that path. Questions?
Yes, so then has there any thought been given to what happens to the old McDowell Mountain building? And how much would it, because right now you're saying it's about $100,000 to maintain Four Peaks as is, so would that translate to the
I
old
believe it would.
McDowell?
It'd be similar. They're similar footprints. Right now, it's a little bit more expensive on the SRP bill because we have classes there and we're putting one whole wing and comfort levels, temperatures. But I think you definitely would see a similar, if not maybe a little bit more of a cost reduction there. And as far as what to do with it, that's what our facility use committee is talking about. It's a much nicer building. It is in much better shape. And there's a lot of, I think, potential options that we've looked at there that could be, someone could come in and possibly utilize that at college. We could even, in the future, look at a specialty program, things like that, but nothing guaranteed at this time.
It's not ready for prime time, but there's a lot of discussion going on about different options.
Yeah, it'd be nice to, if this, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, it'd be nice to say, this is all going to save us money. It'd be nice to come to that conclusion.
Yeah, I can run for you, a more specific number. It's gonna be a guess, because SRP, we're
Yeah.
guessing on those, but it's right around, I've already run all the SRP numbers, and I've run for Four Peaks. It's gonna be pretty similar, so I would say a good guess would be around 100,000 each year, for each building.
The other thing that we had looked at, if they stayed in place for another year, is to putting up some internal walls and being able to shut down air conditioning in other parts of the building, because there's still an expense, just the way it's constructed.
Mhm. Okay. All right.
Cost, Todd and I are estimating, we think under 250 to do everything if we move it. So again, hopefully pay for itself in a couple of years. I would feel a lot better, again, we're looking for approval to do this. I think we can do this without the land sale because of the fact that we do have capital and savings. And we get a refresh of capital come June. So we've been really, we haven't spent a lot of capital this year. So my hope is that we should be able to start next year with over 1.3 million in that account. So we try to keep it at close to $1 million as possible as we can. So if we even spent the money on that, it would be a large expense, but I think it pays for itself down the road. And the hope that the land sale money will come in, we can reimburse a lot of those expenses in how we purchase things over the next couple of years by using that money versus capital. Okay?
Are there current classrooms that are being held in those areas where we need to get creative on where we're going to move them? And do we think we're going to have teachers that are going to feel like they're being displaced?
So we have one teacher who's been in that building for 2 years in art. And Val did have a conversation with her about that and the reason behind it and why. It's a beautiful space, don't get me wrong, like I get it. But we could easily do all the art at that level in the various science rooms that are over there that are hardly used. So we have 2 in kindergarten, or I think 1 in kindergarten that's not being used. And then in the 4th, 5th grade hallway, I believe both are unused. And in the 3rd grade hallway, I think 1 is unused. So those are large rooms with lots of sinks and tile floors, and you can get messy in there. And a lot of them have exterior doors to be able to put stuff out to dry. And so no, I don't think it would be a concern to move them to make room for the preschool. I think people will be understanding of it's a need of the district and it needs to be done.
Do we have concerns about preschool drop-off and pickup and how that's going to interact with elementary school buses, drop-off, pickup, all of that?
I think I don't, only because I had that concern 3 years ago when we moved over there and we made it work. It took a little getting used to at first. I remember the first day, we were backed up on Fountain Hills Boulevard for like a mile.
Yeah.
And I said to the community, give us some time. We did. And now it's flawless every year. We would just include them. Kindergarten has their own drop-off pickup line, so we'd include preschool in that.
Okay.
And so you're adding 35, possible. They don't ride the bus, so you'd be adding about 35 cars. We can easily handle that with our enrollment of kindergarten declining over the last couple of years, so it'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
I think I've been to a lot of the things that the preschoolers do, and I think it'd be great to have the elementary kids be able to see them, like do the teddy bear parade or anything like that. And plus for the parents not to have to run from one place to another, because everything would be
Yeah,
put
there's some
together.
convenience to that as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is there any, and I think you may have touched on this, but I'm going to ask you to elaborate just a little bit. From a security point of view for the preschool students, is there any benefits to moving to the elementary school?
I think, I do, I just, whenever you go to a larger campus, there's more people and more visitors and it's more, it's just busier and there's more things going on. That the preschool right now, I believe, is in a good place. We know our parents well, the teachers are highly regarded, they have great relationships with them, they know where to drop off, where to pick up. We added the security guard this year to be on campus at all times and always walking it and being available. But I think whenever, the school resource officers at the elementary, a period of the day, most days, she's out in the parking lot, she's on campus. So that's another level of security. The fact that you have more action coming and going all the time. We're at the preschool, there's such a small staff, I think, from that perspective, yes. And I believe that the way we're building the playground out in front, I think it will be a very safe space for them.
Did we install, through the grant, the clock?
No.
That system, is that at Little Falcons right now?
It is not.
But it is at the elementary
It
school?
is.
So.
Same with the cameras. The cameras are on the old system over there versus the Verkada at the elementary school.
So are we also considering and including the fact that, I don't know if there's cameras already in those art rooms or around that area that we can just repurpose and make
Yes.
work there, or?
There's cameras in the area. The only area we may have to add one would be the hallway to what's the band room now? There won't be a bathroom there anymore, but there is a hallway there. Typically, none of our classrooms have cameras in them, so the only camera would be just that hallway.
But now they would get to participate, so if we had like a lockdown situation,
Yes.
we would be able to take advantage of this system.
Yes,
Because
from that,
the
yeah.
preschoolers are there,
Yeah.
so they would be locked down as
Yeah,
well.
we did all we still, I go and train them every year on safety protocols and all that, and we added the security guard, we've done the vulnerability assessments and things like that at Little Falcons current. But yeah, I think having a principal is another huge plus, it gives Denise a little bit of a break from managing so many things. And I think another perk of this is Denise is one of the, she's a Hall of Famer. I mean, she's 35 years in the district. And one of the things we've talked about is in her administrative position is taking on more of kind of overseeing the curriculum of not only preschool, but kindergarten and even into first grade, where there's a continuum of her high expectations, what she's able to do at the preschool. And Ms. Reichler is 100% on board with that because her level of expertise is more in the upper grades. And so it would give the two of them a really good kind of a place to focus on academically, which would be a nice bonus, at least for a couple years till she retires. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Next up, the M&O override discussion.
All right, I'm back.
You don't want to go sit
I'll be
down.
like
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll imagine again.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm going to just kind of be brief here. I'll take questions. The override, this is maintenance and operation override. So that means it is used for salaries, the operation of the buildings, and full-day kindergarten. So a lot of people don't understand when we look at our enrollment counts, like you saw enrollment tonight, and when you have small kindergarten like we have, they only count towards ADM as half. So whatever that number is, you got to divide that in half, and that's really what we're getting paid for them because it's only half-day kindergarten in Arizona. If you want to have full-day kindergarten, you have to fund that another way. And if we didn't have full-day kindergarten, we would have nobody here. So I think that's a non-negotiable at this point. So the override has been typically used, and I remember voting for this over the years, as full-day kindergarten. Dr. Hermy brought that in years ago to compete with Scottsdale and some of the districts that were taking our students. So this is straight from an email from Stiefel that I shared with you all earlier today. I shared it with you months ago, but I want to share it, refresh your mind, and then to the community. The district's 15% M&O override was most recently passed by voters in November of '21. which was fiscal year '22. That override has a 5-year capacity at full amount before we begin to phase out. Those 5 fiscal years are starting in 2023 through '27. So I want to be clear that we have the override in place for next school year when we budget, but if it's not approved in November of '26, it will begin to phase down in fiscal year '28. So I broke that down for you a little bit. I'll go back to that in a minute. I want to be clear with the community that this is a continuation tax, so this is one that we're already paying. It's one that you're already, it's part of what you already do. And I want to be clear too that I've had some questions have come up about, you know, if we don't have a school district anymore, we wouldn't have the tax that goes with it. And I just want to be clear that's impossible at this point. We would have done that 50 years ago when the town was founded and made it a, you know, retirement community or over a certain age and no schools, similar to Rio Verde. But we don't have that. So we're going to be paying taxes for students forever. The question becomes with the override is really going to come back to, and I'll talk about this later, is the local control of the school district being here, having you all representing and controlling your students with the local kids in the local school district. So this is a continuation tax. Our tax rate is, I believe, the second lowest in Maricopa County. I think the only one lower than us is Cave Creek. And as a result of that, the reason that is so low is because what our housing value is very high, all right? So, and what it costs to run the district is very low, especially with low enrollment. So for us to achieve what we need to achieve as a community to pay for the schools is at such a low rate that we actually don't even hit that qualified tax rate. We actually have that penalty that you'll see on your taxes. It's an ARS code that says basically that Fountain Hills doesn't need to have a high enough tax rate to take care of their schools. So that's why part of the reason why ours are so low. The other reason it's so low is that we don't have any secondary real tax other than the bond from 2013, which we're almost paid, well, I didn't say almost, but it's getting closer to being paid off. And that was an $8 million bond from 2013. It's 13 years ago, and it's going to phase out here very soon, but we have nothing else on the books. So we have a very low tax rate compared to other school districts and other towns and cities. Our current M&O override amount is about 1.1 million for this school year. I'm going to use round numbers just because it's easier for the math and all that, but 1.1 million is a good number to work with. And next year we expect that to drop a little bit, somewhere around $1 million. And the reason is as student count drops, that 15% you can go over your budget is also going to drop as a result of that. If the override does not pass, if you choose to go for it or choose not to go for it, and regardless, if it times out, in 2028, the district would lose $660,000 in funding in that year alone. The following year, in 2029, we would lose the other 340. And again, I'm using round numbers here to get to that million. So it's about 66% and about 33% those 2 years. And then it phases out after 2 years. So in 2030, we would receive $0. And you'd be out the whole million and would be off the books moving forward. Okay, so that would be devastating to us in where we're at currently. We also then, and this is where the news is not pleasant, but I do want to say to people in the community that are watching is that this is worst case scenario, right? This is if everything we predict goes bad and we have to be ready for that. We have to always be ready for that rainy day. But this is the worst case scenario, okay? We also have to consider that we have budget reductions almost every year because of declining enrollment. We've been doing that for a time period now. And this slide here kind of shows you this from one of our reports that we have, is it just kind of shows you how the funding formula works. So we don't have 1,409 students, but that's what we get for our weighted ADM because we have so many actual students in the building, and then on top of that, there are different weights based on if they have, special education, there's, ESL, different weights that come in. So 1409 times, we get $5,113 per student in Arizona, gets you to that 7.2 million. That's what we generate just on our students, but our budget this year is about 9.2 because of other funding that we have available to us as well. So I just wanted to kind of see how that works. So every time we lose students, that 1409 is going to drop, and my prediction is next year that could drop as much as 100. And the reason, and that's again, worst case scenario, but that's where Chris and I have to live, is if that worst case scenario happens. The reason I say 100 is because we have 35 kindergartners this year. They're counted at half, so that's 17.5. And then you have 120 seniors that are graduating. It's 100 kids. So now, I'm not factoring into any of this tonight the fact that we get kids that move in, like you saw tonight. We have kids that move in from out of state. We pick up around 50 kids a summer that are new to Fountain Hills. Some summers we lose 50 that move out, and it's a wash, but those are all like bonus for us. Those are, hey, we had more than we expected, so now we have a little bit more budget capacity. We can do some things that maybe we didn't think we could do, or put some more towards carry forward into next year. So that just gives you an idea of, as that number drops, so is the what we call the RCL, the number that we use for budgeting. We anticipate next year we're going to have to reduce the budget by $500,000 to cover that 100 kids. Now, again, we have money in savings, we have additional funding if need be, but for us to maintain what we do and be responsible, we're going to need to reduce that number down by about $500,000. Now, again, as the student counts are lower, we may not need as many sections in certain class period, certain periods, so we can reduce those. And I think the vast majority of these cuts, not all, but most of them, could come from retirements and resignations and people moving and things of that nature, and then just not filling those positions moving forward. But what I predict in 28 is another 400,000 because the junior class is 100 and some kids. And again, if kindergarten stays around 30 to 40 kids a year because of the declining birth rates and the cost of housing in our community, I just have to predict that it could be another 4. And then in 29, it could be another 450 because that is our largest high school class coming up, is our freshmen. They're over 100 right now, and they're going to grow. I'm going to predict another 20 by the time they graduate down the road here. And if you have 40 kindergartners come in, you just keep seeing the math as it goes. Again, this is worst case scenario. This is we pick up no kids and everything goes wrong, right? And then by 2030, we have our first small high school class that has worked its way up from the elementary. It's about 80 right now. So that'd be a real small high school class for us. And that would be a lot less of an issue if kindergarten doesn't pick up. So hopefully it will pick up. But what you need to be aware of when we look at the override is it's a double hit. You have to reduce each year, but now the override's coming off on top of that. So if the override does not pass or you do not choose to go for it, in 2028, it would be a $1,060,000 hit to the budget because of the 660 coming off and then the 400 that I'm predicting we would have to lose that year on enrollment, plus the 500 the year before and the $1 million the year before that from last year that we all cut here a year ago at this time. So by 2029, you have to lose the other 340, remember, because it's the second year of the phase out. And then on top of that, I have another 400,000 or 440, something like that coming off because of enrollment and possible decline. So you're looking at, it could be as high as 780 that year. And then 2030, it would be all gone. There would be no more reduction because it would just be gone. That would be just about 300,000 if the kindergarten seniors don't level out as much as we'd hope. All right, so if you compound this over time, this would be kind of how it looks over the next 4 years. Now again, this is worst case scenario, but year one, we're looking at a $500,000 reduction for 27. But if the override does not pass in '28, that jumps up to compounding the 500 from the year before, plus what we got to cut in '28, compounding that with what we cut the years before into '29, and compounding that into '30, it gets to a real scary number, okay? Again, worst case scenario. Another way to look at it would be the opposite way of funding what we have available in a budget. We're predicting next year's budget to be around 8.7 million. This year it's 9.2, so if I cut the 5, that puts us at 8.7. As those reductions come out without the override, the budget could slip as far as under 7.5 million, where we're at 9.2 today. So we would just have to keep shrinking. We'd have to keep making, each year decisions, possibly cutting programs, possibly cutting what we do as we continue to shrink. So I know that's not the best news there, but I do want to say that we are optimistic that that won't happen. We're optimistic that we will attract students to hopefully reduce those senior kindergarten numbers to half or maybe even a third less, and be able to just as we continue to shrink a little bit, be able to still offer the really good things that we do, but just in a smaller capacity of, if this all goes the way it does down the road, you're looking at possibly closing, another school, combining to one campus, things of those nature down 4 years down the road. So questions?
So I have a couple questions for
Yeah.
you. You mentioned that the bond is going to go away. So is it accurate to say that the net dollar amount of tax for homeowners will actually go down even if the override passes, given the
I
fact
think
that
that's
the
a fair
bond
statement,
disappears?
yes.
And it would be possible to get some projection of actual numbers
Yes,
at some point?
yeah.
Okay.
I could do, Krista, if you could make a note of that.
Yeah.
Stiefel can do that for us.
Okay.
Sure.
The other question is, so if the worst thing happens and, we still have to provide for, students to live their education, and likely they would go to Scottsdale. You mentioned we're the second lowest. Where does Scottsdale tax rate, again, if students end up going to Scottsdale, is there a projection of how much the tax would be in that instance compared to what it would be?
It would be at a level that no one here would be happy with. So,
That's something.
no, let me explain that to you. So,
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We actually get
In
a
the
dollar
event-
amount estimate.
yeah, in the event that worst case scenario, we're talking years down the road, worst case scenario, that the district chose to say, hey, we don't have enough kids to, keep a high school open or something along that line, and we really want to look at, the kids maybe going to a neighboring district. The only way that would work is through tuition. So it wouldn't be no tax change. We would still, I don't think the Fountain Hills residents would approve consolidating with Scottsdale, and I don't know if Scottsdale would approve consolidating with us. And Mesa would be even a higher number because theirs is even higher than Scottsdale's. So the only way I see that scenario ever playing out would be for us to go to those two districts and say, we're interested in paying tuition for these kids to go to those schools. And what would you charge us per student to be able to educate them at those, whichever school district we choose to go to? This would be where we started in 1970. Just going right back to in 1970 when the school district was founded, we were paying tuition to the Mesa School District to send our kids there. And then when Poston Junior High opened, that's where the kids ended up. And then they ended up in high school at various high schools, mostly at Westwood was the main high school they went to. Over time, the kids ended up in Scottsdale Coronado High School for high school. And then in 92, when the high school was built, we had our own school here to, again, have that local control. So in the event that we did look at a neighboring district for tuition, to be able to pay out tuition, we would still pay the same taxes. We would still get the same funding we would get, but we would just write a check to that other district for that tuition. But you would lose all local control of those students because no one from Fountain Hills would be able to serve on a governing board, and we wouldn't be able to vote in their elections.
So, to pay the tuition, would the current tax rate cover that, or could it be possible that the tax rate would have to be higher to cover the tuition cost? presuming that the
I don't
neighboring
think that would
districts aren't going to
be,
give
I
us
don't
a
think it'd be an
bargain.
issue because we're already below, like, we can make our money without even being at the qualifying tax rate.
Okay.
So I think we would be okay on that. I'll definitely, Chris, we can again ask for some clarification on that, but you pay $51.13 a kid is basically what we get for a student. So you would negotiate with that other district of, you know, how's 4,500 sound? You know, I don't know the number, but
right.
you don't have, that would be a negotiation between the two districts if that time ever came. You know, I want to be clear though to parents that, you know, we are not even in that, we're not there by
Right.
any means. We're just, our job is to think about the future, think about rainy days, think about worst case scenario, hope it never comes true. And we do have money in savings to keep so let's say it did not pass or we didn't go for that at this time and we couldn't withstand that, we would have to eat into savings to stay open and stay doing what we do and then look for other solutions down the road to be able to do that.
And this override would be for 5 years, I think?
It's a 5-year override and phases out the last 2 if it's not renewed.
Okay.
And I will say this, if the override is approved by you and you decide to go for that, and it is approved by voters, along with the land sale that we've done, I do believe the district is in really good shape moving forward for another decade, because you're talking about, you would have around 6 years to renew that override again, because we would be, next year's year 1, and it wouldn't even take effect till the following year, so it would actually be closer to 7 years. And then on top of that, with the land sale money, which we cannot use for maintenance and operation directly, it is really designed to fix roofs, air conditioning, and building and maintenance and things of that nature. We can certainly move some of that to maintenance and operation each year, but then that money would just be going away to people versus actual fixing the things that need to be fixed. So in combination with the override passing, the reductions that we've done, savings that we have, and the land sale money coming in, I feel very confident the district would be in really good shape for another decade. And then by then, you have another piece of land on El Lago that you could sell. You have another, a chance to go for another override at that time. And maybe by then, some things have shifted and there's, a need for other funding that the town wants to support at that point. So I don't want to scare anyone with this information, but I think you need to know the significance of that override. It really does make it almost impossible for us to continue doing what we do without it.
And then last question, so since it's on the November election, what's the cost to the district to have this on the ballot? Is there a cost?
Well, without it being on the ballot, it was about 40,000. With it being on the ballot, I would imagine it's under 5.
It's minimal.
It's very
Oh,
minimal.
okay.
I can get you the cost.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I
It's
have.
an election year.
Anyone else?
Makes a difference, yeah. Nope.
Questions?
More of a comment. I can't speak for the town, but we've had discussions, and we've had a town representative on the working group for the facilities, is that we don't have a good prediction of families moving into town with children. And then the construction and the Park Place issues, nothing's going to happen real soon. And the same thing on any construction going out in the Target Shopping Center. It's not going to be within the next couple of months or next year. So the opportunities for outside growth occurring in town is pretty limited right now. So it'd be the population and folks either selling or moving out, retiring, second time retiring, and doing something else to open up and repurpose some of the facilities that are around.
Right, and I think the target, a lot of those are 1 and 2 bedroom, and they're not exactly large family with a lot of kids targets, so.
Okay, thank
Comments,
you.
questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, future actions, student outcomes such as report cards and proficiency data, and then our upcoming meetings, we have January 21st and February 4th right here, starting at 6 p.m. unless we decide to do executive session in addition. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.
Asked before tonight, getting write it down. It's been a long one.